What's up, guys? Welcome to AFOL TV. We have a new city layout. We have a new city expansion area. We have a new city beach. We have a new bridge. We have a new hotel, which is also a skyscraper. We have a new amusement park. And we now have a monorail. Alright guys, now that you've seen the city overview, let's start talking about some of the details, including the new skyscraper. As you can see, it is the tallest building in the city now, completely dwarfs the federal building and our bank building in the back. And we decided to go with Hilton as the brand of the hotel just because they have a lot of similar properties around the world. You probably also noticed that the layout of the skyscrapers themselves to the right is a little bit different. I'll cover that more in a second, but let's talk about this building first. For starters, this thing is massive. I am 6'2", so you can see how it compares to me. And overall, it contained a ton of bricks. The building's really meant to make a statement. I mean, it looks a lot like a Miami tower with balconies that overlook the ocean. And then front is where the new monorail will go. More on that in a moment, but it basically curves around the front of the building. And again, we'll cover more of that in a second. But yeah, this thing is a beast. At the base of the building, we added Hilton branding, and there's a drive-through for the lobby where passengers can be dropped off. We're still waiting on a few more tiles from Bricklink to finish the paving. And then the sidewalk will be finished once we get the monorail set where, the final spot is for it. So right now there's some gaps left open for that. Speaking of the monorail, it is still in development, but it's made to look kind of like a Disney monorail where it's, thick concrete up above with some pillars. Again, this is still in development, but we're using the roller coaster track and the roller coaster cars for the base of the monorail, and then on top the tram will be built. This track is incredibly smooth, and eventually we'll have a full layout where the track is fully connected around the city. But for now, there's just a curve around the Hilton building and kind of a test track for us to build the monorail. So let's talk about the overall layout in this area of the city. It has changed a lot since our last video. If you remember back, this is what it looked like in the previous video where we were talking about what we wanted to do with the city. Off the bat, you may have noticed that Skyloft is gone. Well, it's not gone. It's really just moved over here next to our historic building. I think it actually fits in really well over here as far as sizing and overall look. And in between, there's a restaurant / alleyway where there's tables and chairs. And I think it just fits really nice. It still overlooks the harbor, and it's definitely, that modern look. And down in front, we have one of our newer vehicles, the UPS delivery truck. You can find instructions for this on our website. What's awesome is the little minifig sits inside, just kind of as you see the real UPS drivers, and it is built to 6 wide, which is the standard for our city. But let's get back to the layout change. So another big notable move was the Octan building, which has the fitness center down at the bottom. This was shifted to the back to make way for additional hotels in the front row near the Hilton. This took a lot of kind of playing around. We actually moved the building several times before dropping it in its final resting place. And as you can see against the backdrop of the whole city, I think it actually looks really good back there, and I'm kind of glad we ended up moving it back there, even though, there'll be more buildings built in front in the future. We'll definitely try to keep it so that you can still see it once those new buildings are built. And who knows, maybe it'll move again, down the road. Okay, and now it's time to talk about the new part of the city and the amusement park. But as we make our way over, there's 2 other details I want to point out. First, we have a name for the federal building. If you're unsure who this person is, give it a Google because I think you'll see why we named it this. And then also, down on our beachfront, we have not only a lot more water filled in, but also a lifeguard finally installed. And what's great about this little lifeguard guy is he's not actually attached to the sand right now, which allows me to move him around, as I need to create different beach scenes. In the future, I think we're going to create a more robust and bigger lifeguard platform, but for now, this will do. And now what I'm sure you've been waiting for, the new extended area of the city and the amusement park area, including a new Ferris wheel that is motorized. So let's talk about this area because there's also a new bridge to cover and an expansion of the ocean and beach areas. So the new section of the city is down to the left, or the south end of the city, and there's an expansion of the ocean area and beachfront, including a new amusement park with Ferris wheel. It's connected with a double bridge, which the second bridge is still under construction. But the goal is to allow boats to pass underneath into an intercoastal, and as you can see, we're still waiting on tiles and transclear bricks to finalize the water. Over on the right are some mangroves with a little hermit crab. And, we're just trying to make it look a little more lush and natural. And on the left will be the amusement park, boat rental area, and ticketing counter for the Brickell Park Fun Zone. So the idea for the amusement park came about because we needed to figure out a way to tie in the different levels of the tables. And we had the new creator expert set, which was the new Ferris wheel that recently came out. And I wanted to customize it and make it fit more within the colors of our own city. And so after doing so, I was like, man, I really want to add this somewhere. Where should we add it? And we figured out that the south end of the city in the new area would make a lot of sense. Not only does it tie in the waterfront, but it also creates an upper level where we'll have more amusement park rides and a greater experience. So what exactly is this area? Well, we're calling it the Brickell Park Fun Zone, and there's stairs on the right which lead down to the ticket center as well as a boat rental place, and we're hoping to make some Duffy boats in the future which will be docked there on the side. The dock is just kind of temporarily sitting there until we finish the water. But basically you take the staircase up on the right and it'll lead you up to the bigger amusement park which sits on top of everything. And as you can see, there is an area up top for a line to form, and this is kind of where the minifigs will go in to actually get on the Ferris wheel. They'll basically just follow down around, and then you kick over to the left and up until you finally get onto the platform over here. On the back side, we are planning to do additional rides, and I'm not sure how big the entire amusement park is going to be yet, but basically it's going to sit and kind of anchor the south end of the city, which is going to be more low-rise buildings anyway, and more of like a neighborhood approach with some of our retail store builds and smaller buildings. So we have a lot of room in the new area to do future builds, and really excited to kind of make that whole thing pop up. And down below, obviously, we got to finish the build for the bridge and finish the water and sand, which is just taking forever. But we've gotten some more details out of the beach, and really excited with how that is turning out and how it looks with the city as a whole. You may have also noticed that the lighting is different in our videos, at least for this one and a couple others. And if you saw our recent studio update video, that you probably saw that we did some new lighting upgrades, specifically in the studio here, which is also just, the Lego room. We hung LED T5 bulbs, which are not only very energy efficient, which is fantastic, but they add a whole lot of new lighting to the room itself. And we've really been enjoying the overall look of it. I think it really brings out the colors of the city, and it's much more of a natural sunlight look. So you don't get the yellow tint that you do with, traditional light bulbs or ones that you find around your house. Not only that, but it allows us to work better at night. In the past, when we were using those incandescent light bulbs, it was kind of hard to see what we were doing in the back area of the city. So now that these are hung overhead, it just makes everything a lot brighter and easier to work with. All right, guys, that's it for today's update. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. We have a lot planned for the new area, as well as some fill-ins for the area of the city that are missing, well, not missing, but new opportunities for buildings. If you don't already, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We post updates there that aren't always shared on YouTube, so make sure you are following us there and subscribed here so you don't miss the latest city updates. And lastly, if you do not know already, we are working on setting up a Bricklink store. It has been incredibly painful. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it's just taking a long time. So hope to have that up and running soon, so stay tuned. But that's it for today. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next video.